Life Audio.
Welcome to the Team Us podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey everyone, we're Ted.
And Ashley Slater. The idea of a soulmate, or that one and only person who completes us, is a myth that has been around for thousands of years. It may seem like a concept only for non-married people looking for the one, but here's the thing. If you are married and subscribe to the idea of soulmates, it can be harmful to your marriage. Today, we'll share why. So, Ted, this past weekend was eventful.
Every weekend is eventful, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Yes, well.
Because it's full of events, depending on how you define event.
This is true, but our 16-year-old daughter had all 4 of her wisdom teeth removed Saturday morning.
Thing, right?
Yeah. It started a little rough, too, because I thought we had an 8 a.m. appointment, and they didn't open until 9, and I was not the one who made the mistake. They apologized. They handled it well. But
And gave us a full discount?
No, not even close.
No, I guess I didn't.
So you and I have both had our wisdom teeth removed.
Yes, I've had 3 of my wisdom teeth removed. They left one just because they thought I was a smart aleck. So.
Really? Do you really still have one wisdom tooth?
I have one wisdom tooth. I don't know why they left it, but I guess I'm grateful.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. How did I not know that about you?
You don't often look at my wisdom teeth. They're kind of a secret hidden thing in the back of my base.
Yes, that's true. Well, I had 3 removed when I was about 39.
3? Because you didn't have a 4th?
Right, exactly. I only had 3.
Wow.
I think one of our daughters is like that, too. She only has 3. But the one who had her wisdom teeth removed, she had 4.
Well, I guess this concludes this episode of the We Now Know. Something new.
Yes, wisdom tooth trivia. Okay, so the only good part about the recovery process of getting wisdom teeth out.
Oh, binging TV.
Yeah, is eating ice cream and binging TV. When I got mine out, I binged When Calls the Heart, which is now in like its 12th season. Yeah. But our daughter...
That's a sweet series.
It is. I mean, it started a little slow, but you had to stick with it. Once Rosemary, if you watch the show, you know the characters. Once Rosemary came along, it got much more interesting. But our daughter wanted to rewatch the TV show The Good Place.
Do we need to add a caveat here?
Yes.
It's a fine TV series, but the premise is a little weird, and you may want to look up reviews before you and family watch it. It's rated TV PG, but I think they messed up on that. I think it really should be TV 14. Yeah. And I will say, if you're listening to this, we might give a spoiler or two. We'll try not to, but just know that could happen. There we go.
So The Good Place is about a woman named Eleanor who wakes up in the afterlife and is relieved to realize she's made it to the good place. And if you're wondering how this ties in to today's podcast topic, I will get to that. But she's relieved until she realizes she's there by mistake. Spoiler alert. The show doesn't present like a biblically correct view of heaven and hell.
Wait. A TV show that's not giving biblically? Okay.
Well, I just have to throw that out there. That's a disclaimer there. It's very merit-based on whether you get into the good place or the bad place.
Well, in a sense, getting into heaven is merit-based. Of course, it's Jesus' merit.
Right, not our own merit.
But,
on the show, it's like each individual's merit.
Yes.
So,
which is the opposite of biblical Christianity.
Exactly.
That's the good news, is it's not our merit or lack thereof. So carry on.
Yes. So when the characters arrive at the good place, one of the first things that happens is they are introduced to their soulmates.
Right. Soulmates.
The person who is supposed to be perfect for them, meet all their needs and complete them. And today we're finishing up our Marriage Myth series by discussing this idea or myth of each of us having a perfect one and only soulmate who perfectly completes us. I just wanted to see how many times I could say perfect in that sentence.
That was perfect.
So now it may seem like the myth of soulmates is only for non-married people looking for, quote unquote, the one. Right. But here's the thing. If you're married and subscribe to this idea of soulmates, it can be destructive or harmful to your marriage. So after a short break, we'll unpack why.
Hey, this is Chris, one of the hosts of the Salvation Army's weekly podcast, Words of Life. Throughout this month, we're in a series with a panel of believers discussing how deep Bible study has impacted their walk with God. And beginning in February, we'll be launching a series discussing the power of the written word.
And that's why we need everybody who's called to write. We need your perspective. No one prays like you. No one writes like you. follow the Lord Jesus and bless his church and bless him by offering this gift.
And I decided to try writing my prayers and then waiting and listening for any responses and writing those responses in another color pen. So now I can go back and see actual conversations I had with God and his words in response to me. And it's such a blessing.
Listen to Words of Life on your favorite podcast store or visit wordsoflifepodcast.org.
Americans have a big healthcare problem. Over 100 million U.S. citizens carry medical debt. But that's not the whole story. With health insurance, your out-of-pocket and monthly costs are way too high. You get surprise bills, denied claims, and poor customer service. That's a serious burden. As Christians, we don't have to pay for a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. You can enroll at any time and join a proven, faith-based solution that's both reliable and affordable. CHM isn't just help, it's financial and spiritual support when you need it most. Families across the country count on CHM to step in during their hardest moments. And it works. Stand up to health insurance with a low-cost, biblical solution. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
So we're talking about soulmates today, and I recently learned that the idea of soulmates was first introduced a really, really, really long time ago.
Yeah? Was it like in some old TV show or some old book or something?
No, we're talking like 385 BC.
BC, that's, that's before Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So the ancient Greek philosopher Plato is credited with first introducing this concept in his book, The Symposium. And it's interesting because we were talking about this before we started recording, and our 19-year-old daughter actually already knew this.
She
was like,
did?
"Oh yeah, I knew that." And I was like,
"What?
I didn't. I just learned it as I was working on this."
So when you say Plato, are you talking Plato or Socrates?
Plato.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And he has a character in the Symposium who says, and I'm quoting, "Humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs, and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, Zeus split them into 2 separate parts, condemning them to spend their lives in search for other halves."
Oh, that is so romantic.
Like tragically.
I love it.
Yeah. So this brought about that idea of searching for the person who completes us or makes us whole.
Got it.
So while Plato first introduced this idea, according to a BBC article that I was reading, which I'll link to in the show notes, the actual term soulmate was first recorded in 1822 by poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge in his Letter to a Young Lady. He wrote, "To be happy in married life, you must have a soulmate."
Which is kind of a spin on helpmeet, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I think what I was reading about him is he did not have a happy marriage.
Poor
so
guy.
I think that
he was still looking for his soulmate, I
think
guess.
so, maybe.
Or his helpmeet.
I mean, I find it fascinating. I don't know as far as those of you listening, but I find it fascinating to go back and see where did these things come from.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
So, I mean, this term soulmate, it's stuck around and continues to be an idea that there is a perfect person we are destined to be with who will complete and fulfill us.
And I think for single Christians, the concept of a soul might be sort of shorthand for, maybe God's opinion on a spouse for us. Like if you're a single guy and you see you're developing a friendship with a single female, and I mean, you got to ask God, is this the one? Which is short for what do you think of this relationship, God?
Right. But I think
what's your opinion, God?
Like the cultural version of it can actually make singles get stuck.
Get stuck because you're going to keep looking. You don't want to make a mistake and pick the wrong person who's not your soulmate.
Right.
Whoa.
And the author of the BBC article that I mentioned, they actually interviewed a professor of religion, and this professor put it well in his explanation of what like the soulmate myth is.
Okay.
And he explained, here's what he said: "The soulmate myth promises fulfillment. It says that the isolation and loneliness that are so often part of the human experience are only temporary, that someday there will be a happily ever after in which we are united, or we are united with the one who understands us at every level, protects us from harm, and gives our life overwhelming significance.
I mean, that does describe our relationship. So...
Well, there you go. Having a soulmate sounds pretty good, right?
Oh, it sounds great. Who would not want a soulmate?
Right. So why is it a myth, and how can it be harmful in marriage?
Right. If it's so good, how can it be a myth?
How can it be wrong?
It feels so right.
Well, first, I think it's a myth because no one but God can fill all of our deepest needs and fully complete us. God told Adam it wasn't good for him to be alone, but I don't think God ever created Eve to understand Adam at every level and give Adam's life like the ultimate overwhelming significance.
No, otherwise there would be no room for improvement in your relationship. You wouldn't have to work on your relationship.
Right. Well, and would we need God if we fulfilled each other?
Of course, that's another great point. No.
I mean, marriage is meant to be special and significant and the closest earthly relationship we have. I mean, it represents the relationship between Christ and the church. But our spouse was never meant to step in and do only what God can do, which is complete us.
Complete us, bring us ultimate sort of meaning or purpose or direction. No, that's solid. I think we can quit right here. Do you want to quit right here?
No, let's keep going. Okay. We got more.
Okay.
Another reason I think it is a myth is because I don't think that soulmates are found. I think they're made.
That sounds like a poster. Maybe a demotivational poster. Those kind of has like a ship that's sinking and it says, perhaps the purpose of your life is to serve as a warning to others.
Well, it's meant to be positive.
Okay.
Because, the moment I married you, you became my soulmate.
Absolutely.
When we got married, we became just the right person for each other.
Yeah.
Even though neither of us is perfect and we have lots of growing to do together.
What are you saying? You emphasize lots there. Lots of growing.
I don't know. We both have lots of growing or continued growing.
Yes, this is true.
I think if people have been listening to the podcast long enough, they know we both have lots of growing to do. And I do want to note here that, as we've said before, when we talk through these things, like, when you get married, that becomes your soulmate.
Yes.
We're not talking about abusive relationships. We are talking about marriages that are healthy but want to get better.
Which is a lot of them.
Right.
I mean, every marriage should want to get better because each of us has room for improvement and growth.
Right. Okay.
Some of us have lots of room for improvement.
I will better phrase my notes in the future.
I like the word lots. It gives me room for grace. Lots of grace.
Okay. So how can this soulmate myth be hurtful to our marriages?
I can think of so many ways. Why don't you start off?
Okay. One, I think that the soulmate myth leads us to easily believe other marriage myths.
What do you mean?
Well, all of the other myths that we've unpacked in this series tie back into this one. Because if we believe we have married our soulmate as defined by this myth, the perfect person we are destined to be with, who completes us and fulfills us and keeps us happy, then we're more likely to believe that all we need is love to keep us together. Right. And we'll believe that we won't and shouldn't have conflict.
And if conflict happens, then that's an indication that maybe...
Well, we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Yes. And how we split relational responsibility will automatically be a perfect 50-50 or 100-100.
Absolutely.
So if we married our soulmate, I think we're naturally more easily believe those other myths.
Yep. Unrealistic expectations.
Right. Okay. Well, we're going to take another break and we'll be back to talk about 2 more ways the soulmate myth can hurt marriage.
Hey, this is Chris, one of the hosts of the Salvation Army's weekly podcast, Words of Life. Throughout this month, we're in a series with a panel of believers discussing how deep Bible study has impacted their walk with God. And beginning in February, we'll be launching a series discussing the power of the written word.
And that's why we need everybody who's called to write. We need your perspective. No one prays like you. No one writes like you. Follow the Lord Jesus and bless his church and bless him by offering this gift.
And I decided to try writing my prayers and then waiting and listening for any responses and writing those responses in another color pen. So now I can go back and see actual conversations I had with God and his words in response to me. And it's such a blessing.
Listen to Words of Life on your favorite podcast store or visit wordsoflifepodcast.org.
Americans have a big healthcare problem. Over 100 million citizens carry medical debt while paying for overpriced and complicated health insurance. As Christians, we don't have to pay for a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. Plus, you can enroll at any time. Stand up to health insurance with a biblical solution. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
So we're back. We're talking about ways that the soulmate myth can hurt marriage. And the second one that I have is it leads us to believe that when marriage gets hard or we don't feel in love, that we married the wrong person and our soulmate is still out there. That's where you were going to go.
That's where I was going. Yeah. What a sad, heartbreaking thing. Like if you're married and you start having doubts that maybe you didn't marry the one for you, the one. They're still out there.
Well, I came across another article online about soulmates, and the title really got me. It was, "For as long as our love shall last."
Whoa.
How the soulmate myth makes marriage less happy and less stable.
Wow.
And the author, Brad Wilcox, talks about how the soulmate model of marriage is, and I'm quoting, one that assumes that marriage is primarily about an intense romantic or emotional connection that shall last only as long as it remains happy, fulfilling, and life-giving to the self. So, like you talked about, I think the soulmate myth is that when you start to not feel happy or not fulfilled, or it's not life-giving to us personally, then we go, hey, wait, maybe I made a mistake.
Right. Or not as life-giving.
Right.
You know.
But, I mean, that kind of thinking is just selfish and short-sighted.
It's extremely selfish. I mean, that's the whole foundation of this idea is that this person isn't perfect for me, so therefore this is not meant to be.
They're not making me happy any longer.
Right. Oof.
Right. Well, okay, so I talked about this in Team Us.
Yes,
but
the book?
In the book, yes.
Not the movie. It's also a made-for-TV movie.
No, it's not. But, okay, so I talk about how in the weeks leading up to our wedding, you were telling people about your impending death.
My impending death.
And you did.
So romantic.
Yes, you did not mean like, I am losing my freedom. That was not what you meant.
How do you know? Were you there?
I was there when you said it most of the time. We'll have to talk about that later.
What did I mean by saying, I'm getting married, the single Ted's going to die?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to tell you what I thought you meant.
Okay.
You know, it was about dying to the single self. Meaning you knew that there was going to be sacrifice and unselfishness required, which is the opposite of the soulmate myth, which says, what's in this for me? I mean, we all come to marriage with some respect of, how is this going to make me better? How is this going to make me happy? I mean, we all come to marriage with those things, but that should not be all that we come to marriage with.
You know, I mean, honestly, that's... Hopefully I phrased this right. One of the biggest bits of information that went through my head as I was evaluating whether I wanted to marry you was if you were good for me. And my determination was, yes, I will be much better with Ashley than without her.
But was it this good as in, is she going to help make me better? Was it that thing, or was it...
merely happier?
Yeah.
Or better, definitely better.
So it was this desire to grow and change, to be in a relationship that helped you grow and change.
Yeah. Right.
Which...
and not, yeah.
Yeah. You were getting a little nervous there as you were trying to figure out how to phrase that.
I was walking carefully.
Yes. Well, you've told me that before.
I have told you many things before.
You know, I came across a quote while I was doing my research by author and minister Miles Monroe, and I thought it was a good quote to mention here.
Yeah.
And he wrote, "Marriage is two imperfect people committing themselves to a perfect institution by making perfect vows from imperfect lips before a perfect God."
There's a lot of perfect, imperfect in there. Can you read that
again?
Right,
yes. Okay.
I will listen this time.
Marriage is two imperfect people.
Two imperfect people.
Committing themselves to a perfect institution by making perfect vows from imperfect lips before a perfect God. And I mean, marriage often plays out imperfectly, but I mean, God created it. Right. And the way he created it was perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that, while the soulmate myth says we marry the perfect person and therefore we'll have a happy and perfect marriage, instead, what this quote makes me think about is marriage is meant to be, this lifelong journey of ups and downs between imperfect people who are committed to finishing strong together.
Sure. I wonder if I mentioned the term helpmeet. I wonder if that term, if people hear soulmate and they imagine that they're saying the biblical term helpmeet in a way.
Yeah.
But the word helpmeet is, when the Bible talks about, Adam needs a help meet. What that means is a helper that's meet or sufficient or appropriate. So Eve was the helper that was sufficient and appropriate for Adam. In a way, sure, a soulmate, but not in the modern way of thinking about soulmates.
Right. And I think that's why it was important to kind of start out and say, okay, what are we talking about? Where did it come from? What does it mean?
Right.
So that we have a working definition of what we're talking about as we call it a myth. I mean, I think this is more of the Hallmark movie, The Perfect Person's Out There for You. You might hate each other at first if it's a Hallmark movie.
I might even throw out, I know this is maybe not somewhere you intended to go, but I'm going to throw out, if you hear the term soulmate, in your head, think of the term helpmeet. My spouse is a helper appropriate for me.
So you're saying redefine it.
Yeah, soulmate. Well, I'm saying the term, I think, is poisoned beyond, redemption. Soulmate. Throw it out.
Yeah.
But exchange it maybe for helpmeet, a helper appropriate, an appropriate helper.
Well, and that goes back to that idea that I mentioned earlier of, a soulmate isn't found, it's made.
Yeah, right. After you say I do, boom.
There you go.
Let's work on the soulmate thing together.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not saying soulmates don't exist. We're just saying not in the...
Oh, maybe they do not exist.
I'm getting confused.
It's a fun discussion that I'm mixing up.
Right. I know. All right. Well, do you want to hear the third thing that I had?
I do. Let's hear the third thing.
Okay.
Do we need to take an ad break?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Go with the third one.
We will have another ad break in a few minutes.
Okay.
In case anyone's missing them right now. So the soulmate myth can cause us to put too much pressure and expectation on our spouse and can set us up for disappointment. And we kind of talked through this with that 50-50, 100-100 myth last week. But just this idea that when we expect too much of our spouse, and in this case, expect them to complete and fulfill us and make us happy in ways that only God can, that's too much pressure for a person.
Yeah.
And it's not only too much pressure, it's not something they can do. And then that sets us up for disappointment, which I think causes conflict and bitterness and all kinds of emotions we don't want to have in our marriages. I mean, conflict we do, because conflict helps us grow stronger. But like ongoing conflict that we're not dealing with and can't resolve.
I would like to comment on this, but I don't know what to say. So I'm just going to leave it with your words.
Okay.
Very good words. Thank you for saying them. It's a good third point.
All right. To recap, the idea that there is a perfect soulmate out there who will perfectly complete us and fulfill us is a myth.
Never going to
happen. Instead,
yep.
I'm surprised you haven't made a myth. What is the
myth?
Yes, one of those references.
An old airplane movie.
So instead,
wait, no, it was the Muppets. An old Muppets movie. It was old Muppets or old airplane. It was one of those.
Okay, I thought it was like Monty Python or something.
Well,
I don't know. We're getting derailed here. Okay, so instead, who we marry becomes our soulmate or our helpmate, and we're committed to walking out this life with them. So we're going to take one more ad break. Here's your ad break, Ted. Yes. When we return, we'll be back with this week's S-Time Challenge.
Hey, this is Chris, one of the hosts of the Salvation Army's weekly podcast, Words of Life. Throughout this month, we're in a series with a panel of believers discussing how deep Bible study has impacted their walk with God. And beginning in February, we'll be launching a series discussing the power of the written word.
And that's why we need everybody who's called to write to write. We need your perspective. No one prays like you. No one writes like you. Follow the Lord Jesus and bless his church and bless him by offering this gift.
And I decided to try writing my prayers and then waiting and listening for any responses and writing those responses in another color pen. So now I can go back and see actual conversations I had with God and his words in response to me. And it's such a blessing.
Listen to Words of Life on your favorite podcast store or visit wordsoflifepodcast.org.
Americans have a big healthcare problem. Over 100 million citizens carry medical debt while paying for overpriced and complicated health insurance. As Christians, we don't have to pay for a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. Plus, you can enroll at any time. Stand up to health insurance with a biblical solution. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
So for this week's Us Time Challenge, make a list of other marriage myths that we haven't talked about and reflect on whether they are impacting your marriage. If so, how can you replace them with truth?
So make a list of other marriage myths or ask a question on your social media profile. What are some marriage myths?
Yeah, that's true.
Ask your friends. It's a good discussion.
Right.
Great discussion.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast, and we'd love to have you leave a review over at Apple Podcasts. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashley Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app, so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
If you're the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, you know having a trusted partner makes all the difference. That's why, hands down, you count on Grainger for auto reordering. With on-time restocks, your team will have the cut-resistant gloves they need at the start of their shift. And you can end your day knowing they've got safety well in hand. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.